Most people imagine Christmas as a gentle night, snow falling softly, a star glowing peacefully over a quiet stable, angels singing lullabies into the cold air. But Scripture tells a story so terrifying, so violent, so cosmic in scale, that if you understood what actually happened that night, you would never see Christmas the same way again. The birth of Christ was not calm, it was not quiet, it was not safe. According to the Bible, it was the moment the greatest war in the history of creation broke open. A war so fierce that heaven shook, angels descended, and the kingdom of darkness panicked. And if you only know the Christmas story from greeting cards and nativity scenes, you've never heard the real version. Revelation 12 shows that while Mary labored in Bethlehem, something else was happening in a realm we cannot see. A seven-headed dragon stood waiting, ready to kill the child the moment he entered the world. A legion of angels prepared for battle. The ancient serpent who deceived Eden tried to strike again, but this time, the plan of God would split history in two. If you click away now, you'll miss the truth the early church understood. Christmas was an act of war, a rescue mission, a cosmic invasion, and heaven knew that the moment God became flesh, nothing, not the spiritual realm nor the kingdoms of man, would ever be the same again. Before we go deeper into this cosmic conflict, take a moment to like this video so more believers can rediscover the real story behind Christmas. And if this angle already feels different from anything you've heard before, share it with one friend who needs to see what Scripture truly reveals. The Incarnation was not just a theological event, it was a military strike. The prophets had warned for centuries that a child was coming who would crush the serpent's head. But what most people forget is that the demonic realm believed those prophecies too. Satan's empire thrives on darkness, deception, and human ruin. But the birth of the Messiah meant that a light was entering the world so bright that all of hell would be exposed. When Christ took on flesh, he invaded enemy-occupied territory. Bethlehem was not a peaceful cradle. It was a battlefield. The demons understood the implications before the shepherds did. For the first time in history, God himself walked into the physical world they thought they had claimed as their own. The spiritual forces behind pagan kings, empires, and false religions trembled. If God became man, then Satan's reign over the nations was threatened. His deception of humanity was threatened. His legal claims through sin were threatened. The demons had held humanity in slavery through fear of death, but the birth of Christ meant death itself would be conquered. This was the night the kingdom of darkness realized its doom had arrived. This is why Revelation 12 does not show a stable at all. It shows a dragon. The Bible gives the behind-the-scenes angle. Earth saw a baby. Heaven saw an invasion. Hell saw its downfall. Most Christians never realize this. Revelation 12 is the Bible's hidden Christmas chapter. It describes the Nativity story not from the earth but from the heavens. The woman in labor is Israel, the child is Christ, and the red dragon is Satan himself, who stands ready to devour the Messiah the moment he is born. While Mary and Joseph traveled under Roman taxation, while an innkeeper turned them away, while shepherds huddled around their flocks, an ancient enemy was positioning himself to strike. Revelation 12 reveals that Satan had already persuaded a third of the angels to join his rebellion. They stood with him, unseen, as the child was born. But they were not spectators, they were predators. They sought to stop God's plan before it began. Christmas cards show shepherds smiling under a star. Revelation shows the skies tearing open in war. Earth has always seen the shadows. Heaven sees the front lines. If you flatten Christmas into a nostalgic children's story, you miss the terrifying, magnificent truth. Behind the manger was a battlefield. Behind the star was a war signal. Behind the infant cry was a decree of judgment on every power of hell. This is the cosmic Christmas the early Christians preached, the one we were never meant to forget. Luke tells us that the shepherds saw a heavenly host praising God. But host does not mean choir. It means army, a military formation, warriors in ranks. The angels were not singing lullabies. They were announcing victory. Bethlehem had become the epicenter of a cosmic confrontation. God himself had entered enemy territory, and angelic warriors assembled around him as a divine protective detail. The shepherds did not just witness a miracle, they witnessed a deployment. Angels had appeared before in moments of war, shutting the lions' mouths for Daniel, surrounding Elisha, striking down invading armies. But Bethlehem was different. Never before had they protected God made flesh. Imagine the trembling fury of the demonic realm as they realized their worst nightmare was unfolding. God was stepping into creation himself. Every prophecy Satan tried to corrupt, every bloodline he attempted to defile, every nation he tried to influence, all had failed. The Messiah was here, and hell was surrounded. Satan rarely steps into history openly. Instead, he works through vessels, kings, empires, governments that serve his purposes without understanding the spiritual powers behind their actions. Herod was one such vessel. When the Magi interpreted the star and followed it toward Judea, they unknowingly stepped into the crossfire of an ancient battle. Herod's fear of a new king was more than political paranoia. Scripture shows that murderous rage, especially against God's chosen, often reflects demonic influence. When Herod ordered the slaughter of infants, it mirrored Pharaoh's slaughter in Exodus, the same destroyer spirit, the same war against God's promise. Herod's decree was a physical manifestation of the dragon's attempt to devour the child. But God intervened. He warned Joseph in a dream. He redirected the Magi. He shielded the Messiah from the enemy's reach. No earthly king, no imperial order, no demonic power could stop the plan set before the foundation of the world. The night Christ was born, every spiritual throne, every principality, every ruler of darkness understood one truth. The countdown to their defeat had begun. The incarnation was not symbolic, it was strategic. Jesus did not merely come to teach, heal, or confront religious hypocrisy. He came to destroy the works of the devil. This destruction began the moment he took his first breath. By entering the world through a human mother, Christ took on the nature Satan had corrupted. By living sinlessly, he broke the curse Adam brought. By dying, he defeated the death that enslaved humanity. And by rising, he reclaimed authority over all creation. Christmas is the beginning of the end for every demonic kingdom. It is the first shot fired in the final war. When Satan tempted Christ in the wilderness, he was not trying to see if Jesus would sin. He was trying to stop the plan before it reached the cross. When demoniacs fell before him and cried out, "Have you come to torment us before the time?" As recorded in Matthew 8:29, they weren't asking a question. They were confessing a fear. They knew the arrival of Christ meant their reign was collapsing. Christmas is not cute. Christmas is conquest. The angels knew it. Satan knew it. The prophets knew it. Humanity forgot. We decorate our homes with stars, but heaven saw a signal flare announcing the arrival of the commander of the Lord's armies. We place a manger on our shelves, but heaven saw the throne room of God entering flesh. We sing about peace on earth, but heaven saw the greatest uprising against darkness since creation. The shepherds saw light. The angels saw victory. Mary saw a baby. Heaven saw the king who would reclaim the nations. If we understood what Christmas truly meant, we would tremble the way the demons trembled. We would rejoice the way the angels rejoiced. The Nativity was never the end of the story. It was the opening act of a rescue operation that would reach all the way to the cross, the resurrection, and the second coming. The baby in the manger was not fragile, he was fearsome. Hell prayed he would fail, heaven knew he would not. Every December, the world tries to sentimentalize what heaven considers a battlefield. We turn the birth of Christ into a gentle fable. But when you strip away the decorations, you find a story so explosive that Satan has spent 2,000 years trying to bury it. The night Christ was born, the greatest invasion in cosmic history began. God stepped into the world not as a symbol, but as a warrior who would defeat sin, conquer death, and reclaim his creation. This is why the early church celebrated the Incarnation with reverence and awe. It was not nostalgia, it was triumph, a declaration that the kingdom of darkness was collapsing, a reminder that God keeps his promises, even when the world is covered in night. We cradle the Christmas story in soft colors and candlelight. We picture a silent night, a gentle lullaby, a world hushed in reverence. But heaven remembers that night very differently. As Mary's cries filled a quiet Bethlehem stable, another sound thundered through the unseen realm. Warhammers clashing, blades drawn, the shriek of the dragon who knew his reign of darkness was ending. What we call peaceful was, in reality, the front line of the greatest battle ever fought. Into that swirling chaos, heaven's perfect Lamb stepped forward, not fragile, not passive, but unstoppable. The great I Am wrapped himself in flesh and descended through fire and fury, through angelic ranks colliding against ancient powers, through storms of lightning and ash. The Lord of all creation did not tiptoe into the world. He broke through enemy lines, infiltrating a realm that had long been under occupation. And yet he arrived, not as a warrior king brandishing a blade, but as a newborn laid in a manger. The contrast is so violent, so stunning, that only God himself could have authored it. On the surface, it looked like a quiet birth in an insignificant town. But behind the veil, the kingdom of darkness was collapsing in real time. Demons trembled, thrones cracked. The ancient serpent who had waited to devour the child found himself staring at the one who had come to destroy him. A cosmic invasion was unfolding under the cover of night, hidden inside the smallest, humblest moment in human history. What the world called ordinary, heaven knew, was the day the rightful king landed behind enemy lines. The same child who shattered the powers of hell will one day return with the armies of heaven. The war that began at Bethlehem will end at his second coming. Christmas is not the end, it is the beginning. If this deeper look at Christmas opened your eyes to the cosmic battle behind the Nativity, take a moment to like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe so you never miss these biblical deep dives. And if you know someone who needs to remember that Christmas was an act of war, share this message with them today.
Cheers.